Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Activities for People Living at Home with Dementia. My name is Gail Snyder. I'm the Executive Director for Dementia Friendly Fort Worth. We are proud to offer this program with funding from the Area Agency on Aging and United Way of Tarrant County. These programs are recorded and are made available for future use through a YouTube channel. And today is Museum Day with Peggy Spear from Damon Carter Museum of American Art and the Artful Moments program. And our topic today is family. Peggy?
All right, thanks, Gail. Well, it's been fun because we're already talking about stories from our families and from our house and past. So let me get my thing going. Today we're going to talk about siblings, family, the whole kit and caboodle. We're looking at about 4 different artworks. Most of them are photographs, but we're going to start first with this painting. And I'm sure you guys have probably looked at this maybe when I was on maternity leave, because this is one of the key pieces in our collection. But if you didn't, I'm glad we get to talk about it today. So this artwork is called Crossing the Pasture. Tell me what you see.
I see a taller boy has a stick in his hand.
Yep, great.
Pail.
What else? Yeah, holding a pail.
Cows.
We see cow. Good eyes. Yeah, we see a cow here, and there's a cow down there.
Good morning, Paulette and Bob.
Hey, guys.
Morning.
Sorry to be late.
No, we're glad you're here.
So am I.
Family, Paulette. So this is the first artwork we're looking at. It's called Crossing the Pasture. So we're just kind of listing all the different things we see. So we see cows, we see a boy holding a stick, we see another boy holding a pail.
They're coming out of a valley.
Yeah, they're in like a valley.
I think, and beautiful flowers.
Beautiful
Yeah,
flowers.
looks like it might be spring.
Spring. I was going to ask, what time of year do you think it is? And that's a
Well,
good
summer, yeah.
Those are the kind of flowers you make daisy chains with.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I said spring, but I don't know. The color, the light looks like it might be summerish.
Yeah, late spring, early summer. We're definitely not getting a fall vibe.
Well, the small boy looks like he's not wearing shoes.
Yeah.
Correct. He's barefoot. So
And since they're high up, it's probably cooler.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, based on their clothing, I don't know, looks kind of like it's the young man has lederhosen on. I don't know if that's true or not.
It kind of is like lederhosen. They're waders.
Waders.
Or
Okay.
they could be high pants. We can't really tell because his the little boy, his pants are rolled. His are just trousers that are rolled. If you were to see it in person, you would be able to see kind of that nuancing in the paint. And the older boy, it looks like he might even be wearing higher waisted pants or some sort of waders based on what his shoes look like. So so you guys have hit some of the key points. We see a little cottage in the background.
I hadn't recognized that as a cottage.
Might be.
Pardon me?
Any guess on who these boys might be?
Brothers?
Brothers.
Brothers, yeah.
Yeah.
We don't know for sure, but if we were guessing, it looks like they were other brothers.
Yes.
How many of you have siblings?
Yes.
No, I'm the only.
You're the only?
They got it right the first time, Paulette.
They nailed it when they made you, so they didn't need any more. So
That's right.
they got the one and done and beautiful. Yeah, so how many people are the oldest sibling? Yeah, how many people are the youngest sibling? Okay. So Martha, you might connect with the little boy that's kind of behind his brother.
Yes.
Whereas the older siblings might kind of recognize being the kind of the protector, or in most cases they might have been the protector.
My husband was getting after me one day because I was the spoiled only child. And I turned to him, I said, hey, your mother had 3, she had to keep trying. My mom had 1 and she saw perfection.
That's right. Myra's an only child also. And
Oh, really?
she just sometimes she doesn't understand how I behave, because I behave like I grew up with a brother. So that means I grab all the good food as fast as I can before it gets taken by somebody else.
You were afraid you'd draw back a nub with a fork in your hand, right?
Yeah.
My husband is an only child too, and it's really, we notice a lot of it when we argue, because we argue very differently. You know, like with your siblings, you get in a little situation, and then 10 minutes later, you're like, let's get in the car and go get ice cream or
Yeah.
go play. Where my husband is like, you said that, and I'm still very shocked and hurt. And I'm like, oh, I don't even remember saying that. Like, oh, you wanted to do something, you know? That's when we notice the difference in siblings.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
So
Oh, go ahead, Don.
in the background behind the cow on the left, is that like a stone wall?
Yes, yeah. So this artist is a New Englander. He grew up in Massachusetts and then had lived a lot of his life in Maine. So this is very a New Englandy landscape. He hunted a lot in Vermont, in New York. He was a big hunter and fisherman. So you see parts of those elements in this painting. And I wasn't a big fan of this artwork until I years ago started doing more and more research on it. And one of our curators is a big Winslow Homer buff. In fact, we actually have an exhibition opening later this month that is featuring a lot of Winslow Homer's artwork. But it's kind of biographical, this painting. And so I'll just share with you some of the interesting nuggets that you might be able to see a little bit of the artist's life kind of reflected. So he grew up in New England. He hunted and fished a lot. So you see the little boy has what might be a fishing stick, even though it's, it's a stick, but he might have gone down to the creek. They've got that little pail. And I don't know about you guys, but if you were little, maybe with your siblings or cousins, you would go to the creek or go to the lake or whatever and fish or do whatever, collect rocks or shells and that kind of thing.
Or it could have been the minnow bucket.
I don't know where they are really. But maybe water because his pants are rolled up. And then Winslow Homer was one of 3 boys. He was the middle child. He had an older brother, Charles, who was 2 years older than him, and he had a younger brother, Arthur, who was 5 years younger than him. He was particularly close with his older brother, Charles. So as the legend goes, Winslow Homer was a really prolific drawer, illustrator. He did a lot of illustration during during the Civil War. And he then started painting, and his first painting is called The Sharpshooter. He created this painting and he said to his brother, you know what, if this painting doesn't sell, I'm taking it as a sign that this is not the career for me, and I'm going to leave it all behind and do something that Dad wants me to do. Well, the artwork sold anonymously, and it came out years later that it was his brother who purchased the artwork because his brother didn't want him to leave the arts world.
Oh.
So it's a sweet story.
Mm-hmm.
And he and his actually have a picture of them. He and his brother hunted and fished a lot. We've got Winslow Homer here. We got his brother Charles here.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, so you can see, we've got the 2 brothers fishing here. You kind of see a little bit of that as children here. And then do you notice the date it was painted? 1871 to right after what happened, Civil War. So this painting is a little bit nostalgic to it, these 2 boys don't have a care in the world. But you can kind of see, after the World War, a lot of families were destroyed. A lot of families were separated, whether it was someone was killed or they fell with the Union or the Confederates. So there are different points of view, ripped families apart. Living and dying ripped families apart. you can kind of see, this is a time when those things didn't matter. And, we were back in the prairie. We weren't on the battlefield. We weren't in the
Yeah.
city. And this kind of stormy looking sky that's rolling through. Some art historians speculate that was just, we'd gotten through the storm of the war and that's behind us, but it's still, the effects of the storm are still kind of around. So there's a little bit of that Civil War aftermath Homer is getting to. But I really like to focus on the sweet brotherly and knowing that his brother really supported him. And his brother
I do
actually
too.
Worked for what is now known as Valspar, the paint company.
Okay.
So it's just, another layer of this using paints and being in the arts and the whole bit. So it's a sweet story. And Homer was, Winslow, Homer, they're both Homers. Winslow was really close with Charles's wife, Maddie. So they were all a very close family. Their parents, Winslow took care of his dad when his mom passed away. His dad had dementia or something along those lines. And so his brother took Winslow, and then sometimes his brother would take care of his dad. So they were all a very close-knit family.
Hey, Peggy.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with Homer Winslow because I went to a viewing down there. I don't know if you can see this book. It's the
Oh yeah, hunting and fishing.
Hunting and Fishing, yeah.
Inside we called it hunting and fishing, but it's wild
Yeah.
spaces season.
Wild Spaces, yeah. So yeah, I mean, this kind of painting is the type of thing I'm really interested in.
Yeah, that was a really cool show. For all of you who might not have seen the exhibition, a couple of years ago, we had an exhibition called Wild Spaces Open Seasons. And it was featuring American artists that documented hunting scenes and fishing scenes and all of the different implications those scenes might have meant. So, things like having the leisure to go and hunt or fish as sport, or having to hunt and fish as a way of your living, or what killing certain animals meant in terms of art history and biblical reference and things like that. So it was a really interesting show. And Winslow Homer had some art in there because he has a lot of angling scenes. He has a lot of seascapes, things like that. And so he's a staple in the American art history canon. All right, so we're going to move to our next. Any closing thoughts on this artwork before we scoot to our next?
I have
Please,
a closing comment. I love your earrings.
Oh, thank you. I was telling them earlier, Paulette, this is a friend of mine.
That's so cool. Hello.
She sent them on down. All right, on to the next. So what's this? The last one we looked at was an oil on canvas. What are we seeing here? This is a photograph. Yes, a gelatin silver print, which almost but most black and white pictures you see are gelatin silver print.
So these look like they're Native Americans.
Yes, they are. They are Navajo specifically. What else do we see?
I love the flag.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That flag. Yeah, so that flag was given to this family when Francis, right here, and his wife had a son who served in the Second World War and was killed in battle.
Oh,
And as a thank you for his service, the government sent them a American flag. That was hung in their house. What else do we see?
A rocking chair. So the mother sits in a rocking chair.
Yes, so this is, and I could not find her name, but this is Francis, and this is his wife. She's a grandmother at this point, and these are her grandchildren of one of her children.
Mm.
Okay.
And so does this seem like a happy picture, a serious picture, a candid picture? What kind of vibes are we getting?
Yeah,
Solemn.
Solemn, yeah.
Very
that's
solemn.
a great word.
Yeah, it was a very somber picture. And they all seem kind of tired.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They all seem kind of weary. I mean, you get the sense that life has not been easy, just given
Mhm.
maybe the weather-beaten faces. They have deep wrinkles.
Barefoot children.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
great observation, Martha. No shoes on the kids.
Here
So-
in American
Kinda like
Indian,
they
we
might
didn't
be
have
outside
anything like in America. That's for them.
So,
Winter.
so Peggy, you said that this was the Navajos, some Navajos. Does that put them in the American Southwest?
Yeah, this is New Mexico. So the artist, I don't know if you guys ever recognizing the artist's name, Laura Gilpin, but last week we looked at a photograph, or a couple of weeks ago, which I'm not expecting you to remember the photograph, but we looked at the photograph of the people voting, the Navajo
Oh, yeah.
voting. It's the same photographer.
Okay.
So Laura Gilpin is her name, and she and her partner would travel down to New Mexico and Arizona, where the reservation, the Dine reservation, and for 20 years, Laura Gilpin would photograph the Navajo families, and she became particularly close with this family. And often what happens with letting an outsider, a white person in on an indigenous group, is there's sometimes a little bit resistant to welcome that person in, because especially during this time, it felt as if they were being photographed because they were something that the not on in the inside, they were on the fringe, and there was an interest in that. And Laura Gilpin made sure she wasn't, they never felt like that, and that's not what she was doing. She was actually investing in these families and these people, and they really welcomed her in, and by doing that, they allowed her to take their photographs.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
She, like, this photograph is very kind of like a documentary style type of picture. It doesn't, you feel empathetic for them, but you don't, she's not exoticizing them or adding any soft filters to make it feel like it's this other world of people. It feels like you can relate to some of the faces, and you can relate to that position. And she photographed his family when the son was a little boy, before he went to war. So there are pictures of the mom with the son, and then there are pictures after the son had grown up and died. She really followed that trajectory of the family.
Peggy,
Yes.
this style of photograph reminds me of the era when photographs were taken of the Dust Bowl and that famous woman with her small children.
Yeah, that Dorothea Lange photograph.
Thank you. Wasn't that about 20 years earlier?
God, I loved her. She's my favorite.
Yeah, that's a really good observation. So she was really interested in that, the WPA, the government commission, where it was really a social documentation of the world. And so that photographs that were made during that period is when she really started taking pictures of this nation. And that carried all the way through. So it was really meant to be a documentation, not an artistic representation of a group. So that, yeah, wonderful observation, Martha.
Peggy,
Yeah.
was she using a large format camera, do you think?
I don't think so. I'm not a photo buff in terms of the equipment and technology, but my hunch is that it must have been, I don't think it was large format, because it's a gelatin silver print, and she was traveling in her car and photographing people in situations that sometimes felt candid. So I think it was something that was pretty light and mobile.
Okay.
To allow her to capture what she wanted to capture.
Great.
Thank you. She took all these pictures. She has tons of portraits of the adults in this picture, and she put it all together in a book. And the book is called The Enduring Navajo. And so it's over 20 years of photographs from this particular reservation.
You know, years ago, I had my own darkroom.
Oh,
And I used to develop my own film, and then I would, you know, make prints from it in black and white. And my daughter was my assistant.
I love
But
that.
yeah, you know, and Dorothea Lange, I mean, to me, she was just absolutely mind-bogglingly wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, she really was wonderful.
Oh, she was great. But that was a fun time with my assistant daughter.
Good on her for keeping the door closed and not running on out when you're developing photographs.
Oh yeah. She had it down pat.
That's such a fun memory. Yeah, in this particular, Laura Gilpin, we have her archives at our museum. So we have correspondences and letter, you know, all sorts of receipts, things like that when she was an active artist. And then you can order, like the Dorothea Lange pictures, you can order prints through the Library of Congress because the government has some of the negatives. So it's really cool. You can just, because they own the negatives, you can just buy the print and the Library of Congress just sends it right to your house. So
wow.
if you're ever wanting an interesting gift for someone, you can go onto their catalog and see what they have to order.
What's the catalog called, Peggy?
If you just go to Library of Congress, and then I can't remember, I haven't done it in a while, but you can, or even if you have a particular photograph you want to buy, you just Google it, and usually Library of Congress comes up if that print is available. But like that Dorothea Lange, because that's all federally funded photographs, you can buy any of those WPA photographs. All right, we're gonna jump to another photographer who we have all of the archives for. And she was never on my radar, but she might be on yours, Nell Dorr. Have any of you heard of this photographer before?
No.
Yeah, I hadn't either until I came to this museum. So what do we see here?
Ring around the rosy.
Yeah.
Rosie.
A happy situation.
Yes, very pleasant, kind of very, very different than what's happening here.
Yeah.
Pleasant situation. Yeah. So does it look like they're inside or outside?
Outside.
Outside and playing, no shoes. Older kids, younger kids.
Yeah.
It looks like there's probably 3 children and 2 adults.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Maybe it's mom and daddy.
Yeah.
Full arm.
It does look like a rolled up shirt sleeve
Mm-hmm.
arm that
Yeah.
you can see.
Yeah.
So this photograph, so Nell Dorr was married and she had 3 daughters. And then her 3 daughters had children. And these are her grandchildren.
Mm.
This is one of her daughters.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know who this is, but that might be one of her daughters as well. This particular summer in 1944, she and her children, Nell's children, her 3 daughters, and their children went up to a farm in, I think it was Vermont or New Hampshire. And while all of the husbands were off at war. And so they had a nice summer together. And she took all these photographs of her children and her children with their children. It was really, really focusing on this mother-child dynamic. And she learned photography from her dad. She'd always been taking photographs since she was a little girl, kind of like you, Paulette. She would work with her dad. She was her little assistant, her dad's little assistant. And then she ended up doing her own thing, taking portraits, and then decided she didn't want to have her own studio doing portraits. And she was really more interested in capturing these more natural situations, especially mother-child situations. And so she was in New England. Her family was from Florida, so a lot of her outdoor scenes are either in like a marshy type of land or in this kind of pastoral landscape that we see here. And she was really trying to capture the connection, the affinity and affection between mother and child. So you guys already hit on it. You said it feels like a happy scene. You can kind
Is
of
that is that her or her daughter?
I think it's one of her daughters. Yeah, I don't think Nell is in this particular picture. And so she put together a book. She had 6 grandchildren. And so she put together a book with all of these different pictures she captured of her family. And there was one other family with them that was family friend. It was the mom and her children as well. And put together this book called Mother and Child. Mm-hmm. So I think Nell really felt it was kind of her lot in life to be a mother, to be a photographer of these motherly scenes. So a lot of her photographs are some of the most endearing, kind of like you're peeking in on a very private and intimate moment of a mother and child. And so I adore this photograph. I think it just, whoever's saying, it feels playful, it feels happy, it feels kind of safe, it feels
Hey, that's a great word.
Did you guys have any pictures like this and going through things? Have you ever found pictures like these moments of you with your family?
My family always stood everybody in rows in the front yard to take a picture.
Yeah, mine too.
We never played.
I didn't have a big enough family to make a row.
We have a picture that was taken on Thanksgiving Day. It was actually when my sisters and I are older, and one of their children is probably the age of these girls, but we're all sitting around the dining room table looking at the newspaper ads for Black Friday in preparation for our early morning shopping the next day. And it's one of our favorite pictures, and every year it comes up on somebody's Facebook feed and somebody shares it and we talk about it, because my grandmother has since passed away, and it's a very fond memory because sometimes my grandmother would even go shopping with us for a little while.
Oh, I love that. So it's ring around the coupons, not ring around the rosy.
Yeah. And it wasn't about we have to get this particular thing. It was about the extra time that we got to spend together, because there's 4 of us. And so it's not often that all 4 of us are together at the same time and all get to go shopping together.
Yeah. Oh, that's sweet. What a nice memory.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, does it look like they're all barefoot there?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It does.
Yep.
And she ended up, Nell Dorr had 3 daughters, like I mentioned, and her youngest ended up passing away. And I couldn't find why or how, but ended up passing away later in life while Nell Dorr was still alive. So I think it sounded like that kind of broke Dorr as a person, which I can imagine that was. And
So
we've
is
got
this
one more. Oh, say that again, Don.
Is this another one of those pictures that be in the Congressional Library?
You know what? I don't think this is, because it's part of a book that she
Okay.
did herself. I don't think it is, but it's one of these. Well, Laura Gilpin, this picture is in a lot of collections across the country, I think, because her work was pretty iconic. Nell Dorr isn't so much. I don't think this picture is in as many collections, so I don't think this one is as easy to get a hand on. And then this is one last fun photograph. This is photographer's name is Carl Struess, and it's just we have all of his archives too in our collection. And this is just a fun picture of him with his family on the beach in LA.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't look like LA these days, does it?
Oh gosh, I know. Look at these cars parked at the beach. It just makes me laugh. I wish there was a surfboard on one of them,
I love a picnic basket.
Isn't that just beautiful?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but I saw this and I was thinking, oh my gosh, the amount of sand that's probably in her shoe, and she has tights on. It was like making me feel claustrophobic. So I couldn't find much about Struess, and I emailed the curator about his family, and the curator hasn't gotten back to me yet. So I don't know how many kids this particular photographer had, And which one of these women is his wife? I think that's maybe
The one with the hat.
the one in the hat right here.
Yes.
Yeah. And the one in the
With the
middle looks
bald
like she's
hat.
the older lady.
And this is maybe a sister or sister-in-law. I don't know.
Well,
It's just the strangest thing. I couldn't find anything about his family, but everything about this particular artist. He was a New Yorker. He did still photography. He was in that same group with Alfred Stiegler, like some of the artists we've talked about before, Georgia O'Keeffe's husband, that group of photographers. And then he left still photography all behind after he returned home from World War I. He left New York, he moved to LA, and he did cinematography for Hollywood. He worked for a very, very long time with Cecil B. DeMille. And he ended up getting an Oscar. So,
Wow.
yeah, for, I think it was Ben-Hur.
Wow.
But yeah, so he like totally shift gears. So we have, this photograph isn't when he was making his photographs. This photograph is from our archives of just him documenting his family on a sweet trip. And he created, for moving image, he created a soft lens filter that was really popular in the 1920s. He invented that, and it kind of stemmed from his background in still photography. So kind of interesting crossover, but so you see a little bit of those soft edges here.
Are those his fingers?
I can't tell if it's his fingers or if it's like a part of a closed umbrella. I can't.
Oh, okay.
I hadn't even noticed that, Dawn. Good observation.
Oh,
Yeah, I like your closed umbrella idea better than fingers.
Maybe, but I mean, it doesn't look like it's a resort, so it probably is his fingers.
Okay.
Do you guys have memories of going to the beach as a family, loading up and heading to the beach?
Yes.
all the time in the summer.
What are some of your favorite memories of the beach?
That was when the whole family, lots of cousins and uncles and aunts came together, and we were just playing, and we had our own coffee along and bread and some juice, and then we would always go up and buy an ice cream.
Yeah.
Yeah, what beach trip isn't complete without ice cream?
Yeah.
Pardon me?
I said, what beach trip isn't complete without ice cream?
That's right. Yeah.
So my family went to Myrtle Beach and along the South Carolina coast, and it was we would there was a couple of years where we had our family reunion, my mother's family reunion, down at the beach. They'd rent a beach house, and it was right on the beach, and we did deep sea fishing and we went looking for shells for hours and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that the beach was on one side of the house, and there was kind of a swamp on the back side of the house. And there was alligators in the swamp.
Oof.
Oh, ouch.
That's a family vacation that could go really awry if someone took the wrong step.
So Peggy, the lady that's closest to the umbrella, is she cutting a cake, or is
it looks like it's a loaf of bread?
A loaf of bread. Okay.
But I mean,
Makes sense. They're having sandwiches, but
situation.
It almost looks like it could be a cake.
You know what? It could actually be from. I haven't seen, because this is just the negative, so I haven't even seen the print of it.
Okay.
Looks like bread, but.
And what is sitting in the sand beside the lunchbox, the picnic basket? What is that?
You know what? I can't tell. It might be his bucket, like a bucket with some sand shovels in it, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
A child's bucket, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, this looks like it's like fine china that they brought to the beach.
No kidding.
How funny.
I guess the food's on that is in that box right in front of the lady on the left.
Yeah. And I'm guessing it's probably a cooler time of year, because I mean, the little kid has a sweater on. She's wearing nylons.
Yeah.
This looks like a furry or fuzzy coat.
You want to try it?
Oh, but how fun to be by the beach during any time of year. You can just go and have a little lunch al fresco.
Yeah.
maybe early spring again.
Early spring, yeah.
And
Oh,
I
you
remember
want
in Denmark at that time, people, they were actually dressed when they went to the beach.
Oh, really?
Unless, they had a male beach and a female beach. They couldn't swim together.
Oh, interesting.
So whenever they got out of the water at that time, then they would all dress up. They wouldn't stay around in their swimsuits.
Ah,
Oh, how interesting.
Ah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wondering then if there must be like a little cabana area.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Any ideas? Did you say this photograph was taken on the East Coast or the West Coast?
I think it's in one of the beaches in LA.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you can tell kind of by that rocky terrain. I'm picturing, Malibu or
Yeah.
Venice, that kind of area where it's a little more
That-
terrainy.
That vehicle on the far left, is that a pickup? Can you tell?
It looks to be, yeah,
Mhm.
definitely only like a 2-seater cabin. So I think there is a bit of a pickup area or part of the truck.
Yeah.
Well, those are the photographs and artworks we're looking at today.
oh, beautiful
We're
job,
able to hear
beautiful.
some
photo.
family memories. And then next week is Gail.
Hold on just a second. Let me open up my document.
And I even made a note. Look at what you're doing next week.
Drum roll.
Yeah, right. And it's always something like sports or,
Next week is winter.
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 Ooh.
Bundle up, folks. We're going to look at some chilly artworks.
All right.
Good.
All right, friends. Well, it was really good seeing all of you this week. I hope you had a happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank,
Oh,
thank
bye.
you. You too.
Peggy,
Yeah, bye, guys.
thank you
Bye,
so much
Peggy.
for being
Thank
with
you.
us today.
Great job, great job, great job.
Thank you. Yeah.
We'll see you
Well,
next
all
week.
right. See you, friends. Bye.
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 Bye-bye.
All right.
Always interesting.
It is.
So tomorrow is Cookie Conversations,
Oh, yay.
Yay.
and I found the other picture of the other cookies that I was thinking of, and so I want to show you that to see which one you think we should do.
Ooh.
Have to get it over on my screen.
We're all so eagerly waiting this picture.
Yes.
You're
I'm
just
almost
sitting
drooling.
here.
I have a little drool coming out of me.
Okay, roll away. Do you see it?
Ooh, that looks good.
So it's a little bit different than the one I showed yesterday, which is this.
Yesterday's was a
The other
turtle.
one-
Yeah. Yeah.
The one for today, does that have a graham cracker and a vanilla wafer in the middle?
No, that's melted caramel.
Caramel.
Oh.
So it's a chocolate cookie base. It looks similar to the base. Remember we did the chocolate crinkle cookies with the powdered sugar? That it was a chocolate cookie dough.
Yeah.
That's what this looks like. And then it's rolled in chopped pecans.
Mm.
And then they used something to indent the center and poured melted caramel in and then drizzled it with chocolate.
Mm.
Are you willing to take that on? That's a lot of trouble.
It'll be fun. So we could do either one.
I'm easy with either one. They both look
I am too.
Hey, I'm fine with either one.
You're fine with either one. What's almost the same ingredients, it's just prepared a little differently.
Mhm.
And the one difference though is
More
This-
chocolate.
More
this
chocolate.
one is chocolate with pecans and caramel, and this new one I showed today has a cookie base to it, and the other one does not.
Either one is fine, I'm happy.
I'm kind of leaning toward the one we saw yesterday.
Me too.
This one.
That one.
Yes.
Yeah.
These are delicious.
Mm-hmm.
I have
And if you make them, they're delicious.
That's right.
You all are too kind.
We don't want you to stop doing it.
Yeah, no.
That's right. Yeah, hi.
Well, since you're giving me a chance to express my hobby and what I tell people I do to relax is bake. So you give me an opportunity to bake and have somebody to share it with so I don't eat it all myself.
Yeah.
I hear
It's a
you.
little dangerous because my family doesn't eat sweets quite as much as I do.
Oh, goodness.
Well,
Oh.
what's wrong with them?
That's right. What's wrong with them?
I
Yes.
don't know.
No.
And
To know.
they don't really like nuts and caramel either. And I love,
Ooh.
Oh,
Anytime, Gail. Anytime.
How's this marriage endured?
well,
You just bake for us anytime.
my husband does like pecan pie.
Okay.
oh yeah, that's my favorite.
Nuts that he wants.
I love pecan.
And I like nuts in the cranberry salad we have for Thanksgiving. I like nuts on my ice cream.
Ooh, and chocolate with nuts.
Yes.
Ooh, yeah.
My favorite ice cream is German chocolate
Really?
ice cream, which has pecans and coconut in it.
Mm.
And it's kind of a Dutch chocolate.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's one of my favorites. So
When is your birthday, Gail?
when it's my birthday, it's in August.
So that's a perfect month for ice cream.
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact,
Almost perfect for
we
ice cream.
used to have homemade ice cream for everybody's birthday.
Yeah.
Except my sister, just younger than me, her birthday is near Thanksgiving. And she used to complain that she could never have homemade ice cream because of when her birthday was.
I have an ice cream maker, and we used to make our own ice cream a lot of times.
Yeah. We used to do that for everybody's birthday, but she very rarely got homemade ice cream because people just don't get to do it when summer's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And busy baking.
right.
Mm-hmm. Well, whichever one you want to make, Gail, I am sure we will love it.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I have fresh pecans that I got while I was on our weekend trip. And I've been itching to make the chocolate turtles. So I
That
think
sounds good. I think you should scratch that itch and get it.
Yes.
All right. Well, today is cafe day.
Yep.
So as is usual, I will share the link in the chat box. And Paulette, I will send you an email to all of your email addresses so you can join us.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Gail.
Okay. We'll skip today's cafe because we're running out of time.
Yes, you have a lot of preparation to make.
Yes.
And
So we will see you hopefully on Monday.
Okay. Well,
We'll try
safe
to be
travels.
there. Thank you so much. We need that.
Have a safe trip.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
And be sure to pack extra masks in case you.
Yes, I did.
Good.
Okay.
Already did.
Come home healthy, will you?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
another we'll try. We are not really doing anything but just be with the family.
Good.
That's it.
Good.
Yeah.
We're not going to California this year for Christmas, and that just breaks my heart.
I know.
That must be so disappointing.
Oh, it's crushing.
Yeah.
And you gave away your tree too.
Yeah, yes. Now we're going to have to somehow come up with I don't know, fake tree, get a real tree. Who knows? I don't know. If you get a tree, then you got to go out and you got to deal with the people out there who are breathing on you. And
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe I'll just draw one. That would
Draw
be
one.
scary.
Right.
That'll turn you into a non-Christmas person for real fast.
You should write a poem about Christmas trees.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, great idea, Dawn. Yeah. Well, Janine, Dusty, Paulette, Jetta, Hans, Don. It's been wonderful to see you all today.
Yeah, the same
Yep.
to everybody.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be just a few minutes late getting to the chat to the other chat. Room,
Okay,
but I'll be there shortly.
okay. Paulette, I just sent you the email
Okay.
with all the links.
Okay.
I'll be there just as soon as I can.
Okay.
Join
All
you.
right.
Janine, are you coming?
Thank you. Thank you. Which address did you send them to?
All three.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, wish me luck. When
Okay,
I
I'll
said
see you over
computer,
there.
I told you more than I know.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Bye.
Melissa and Yetta, have a
Bye.
safe
Yeah.
trip.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.